What's up guys, it's your boy Techie Fishing, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to make a hair rig or a boilie rig. I'll teach you all the basics you'll need to know on how to make this rig. Please do note that everything is bigger than what's shown. Alright, so as you can see I've already tied a small loop. The loop should be able to wrap around 2 fingers. This is just enough space for either 2 boilies or a boilie and a pop-up or whatever you want to do. So I pre-tied it just to show you guys. I just want to let you know I am going to be using a bigger hook and bright gut. This is actually very thin gut. I'd recommend you use thicker gut. I'm just using this type of gut to make it easier for you guys to see. Alright, I've tied it now through the back of the eye or the back of the hook. You're going to tie it around that piece of line by the loop that's at the bottom of the hook. You're going to tie it around the hook about 5 to 10 times like I'm showing you, just like that, but you're going to tie it around. And then as you're done, you're going to tie it through the front piece of the hook. Then it should be looking like this. Now just excuse where my finger is. I'm trying to like point out all of the things because my sister was making a noise, so I kind of have to now put an overlay of my voice. Alright, so where I'm pointing now is where I've wrapped that around. It should be nice and tight. The loop shouldn't go over each other. Alright, your boilie should look like this. Now I just want to let you know I've already drilled a hole through it. It's a coconut boilie that I'm using, but you can use whatever combo you cool with. Then in my other hand I've got an orange pop-up. It's gonna probably fall out my hand. Yep, just as I thought. Alright, now we've got a bigger swivel. You're obviously going to use a smaller swivel. This one has 3 loops on it, one at the top for your main line and another 2 at the bottom, one obviously for your hook with your line and the other one with a piece of line and your sinker. Alright, so I'm using a coconut boilie. I've already made a hole through it, but this is the drill that you're going to be using. Now you're going to take your boilie and you're basically going to put it onto that loop. I'm going to be using a type of needle with a hook at the end. Here's what it looks like. At the end of it is a little hook. You're going to put the boilie and the pop-up onto there. Once it's on the hook, you're going to connect the hook to the gut and you're just going to push it on, or you'll put a stopper. In my other hand I've got the pop-up. Pop-ups basically just float in the water. Right, now that it's on the gut, this is what it should look like. You're going to take a stopper. I'm using a medium piece stopper. I'm going to put it on the gut and connect it onto the pop-up so that it doesn't come off when you cast. Right, and this is what it should look like once you put the pop-up on. I'm going to try circle it so you guys can more or less make out how it looks. Right, and when it sits at the bottom of the dam, the pop-up is just going to float a bit. You're going to have a feeding ground around it, obviously with corn from your spom or however you like to use it. Now you're going to connect that gut with a nice strong knot onto your swivel. And once it's connected, this is what it should look like. And this is basically the first stage of the rig. On the second stage, you're going to have a sinker, whatever gram you want to use, whatever you feel comfortable with. And another piece of gut. It should be a hand longer. Literally, you measure with your hand, a hand longer than the other piece of gut. And this is what it should look like once it's tied. You're going to have a nice knot on the sinker so that it doesn't come off when you cast. That's not going to be really ideal if it were to break off. So have a nice knot on there. I'm just floating it around so you guys can see for now. I've got all the advanced angling products in the background. Right, then you're going to connect it to your swivel and this is what it should look like. So second stage complete. As I said, you're going to measure with your hand. The line with the sinker is going to be literally a hand taller, bigger, longer, whatever you want to say. But this is basically what it should look like. Right, shout out to the sponsor of this video, Advanced Angling. Thank you for sponsoring me with all the tips and baits that I am going to be using in my next session. I really recommend you guys go and have a look at their shop. They recently expanded. It's a very beautiful shop, friendly staff, and they've got literally every piece of fishing equipment you could ever need. And this is what your rig should look like. As I said, it is a beginner rig. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe or follow for more.